I want to get your inbox to a place where you can't wait to open it because everything that's actually in the inbox is exciting, interesting, and actionable. So the first thing, and this is a little scary, I'm going to warn you, but you need to archive every email that's older than 2 weeks. And that might be a little bit scary to some, but keep in mind that archiving is not deleting. It's still there. And quite honestly, the search functions that we have in all these different email providers now are so good that if you need it, you'll be able to find it. So you need to set up a very simple rule. And in Outlook, it's called a rule, and in Gmail, it's called a filter. And in Inbox, it's built in. Any email that has the word unsubscribe in it should automatically skip your inbox and go right to your archive. Let that sink in for a second. Remember now that we're not deleting it. You can still go back and read it. So if you really want to read that newsletter about the top 5 articles a day or the BuzzFeed article, whatever it might be, you can still go do that if you have time at the end of the day. But what we're trying to do is, as automatically as possible, clear out the non-essential from the essential so that we're not switching modes in our brain. I want to get your inbox to a place where you can't wait to open it because everything that's actually in the inbox is exciting, interesting, and actionable. So now we have to deal with the emails that are in the inbox itself, and that is the 3 Ds. Now remember that the 3 Ds, as I teach them, are really a way for you to make decisions in general, but email is a really good model for explaining it. So the first D is to delete it, or deny it, or decline it. Basically some form of saying no. The second one is to deal with it. So if you can deal with it right now, like in the next 3 minutes, then deal with it right now. There's nothing worse than seeing an inbox, or an email rather, in your inbox and saying like, oh, I just have to say like 3 words back to this person, but you want to craft a better email or whatever. No, just write back, get it done, and you will actually benefit from that progress. You literally will get a dopamine hit from sending that email and being done. The other thing is that deal with it D could include a little subset D, which is to delegate it. Delegating, in my opinion, when done properly, is a form of being done. And I say, like, I always want to be seeking the done. One of the ways that I describe leaders, at least, is that they're playing brick breaker. You have to hit the ball and hit the bricks that are above it. So anybody who's played it for more than 5 minutes knows that you can hit the bottom of the brick and maybe get 1 or 2 at a time. But if you get it up the side, and then it can go all the way on the top, and it can hit like 20 bricks before it comes back down to you. That's what we're trying to achieve when we're passing things off or delegating. We want to get it as far down the road as possible. Sometimes it's a short hit and it goes away, gives us a few minutes to think about something and come back to it. But sometimes you get it right and you can actually send it quite far down the road with somebody who knows what they're doing. If you delegate to somebody who is competent, who is responsible, who is proactive and attention-oriented and detail-oriented, you're done. There's nothing else you can do with it at that point, so you need to forget about it. And that's a big thing too with these emails and with how we make these decisions, is you have to make them, move on from them, and pretty much forget about what you just dealt with because it's not at hand right now. People call this the Ohio method, only handle it once. Now that email may come back to you at some point, but it's a new opportunity at that point. And what I always tell people is that you never want to stall. You always want to be making that decision and moving forward, because A, if you make a bad decision, or quote unquote bad decision, at least you'll have put yourself in a new position to make another decision. But if you stagnate, there's really just nothing worse. You can't do anything. It's like turning the wheel on your car without actually moving anywhere. Now the last D is the most interesting, which is to defer. So if you can't say no, and you can't deal with it right now, then you need to defer it to a time when you can more effectively deal with it. And as we talked about with peak time, this is not a matter of just snoozing and saying, I'll get to it later. No, you're actually going to say very actively, look at it and say, this is a bill, and I deal with bills on Fridays during Finance Fridays. So I'm going to defer this to Friday. I get a request for something at 10 in the morning, but I know that I can't deal with this kind of a request until 8 o'clock at night because it requires me to be creative or writing. I'm going to defer it to 8 o'clock at night and then I'm going to forget about it. So in Inbox, there's a built-in functionality of snoozing that it has. If you're using any other tool or any other email provider, you can use a tool called followupthen.com. So what followupthen.com does very simply is it allows you to forward that email to 3 days at followupthen.com, or Monday 9 a.m. at followupthen.com, or 1 week at followupthen.com, or even every Friday at followupthen.com. And what happens is that at that time, the email will come back into your inbox at the top because it's a new email essentially. It will now include a built-in snooze functionality at the top that you can just click on to say snooze for another day or another 3 days. But the point is that you will start to shift to recognize that you can do things at a specific time and do them more effectively. So now that's the 3 Ds, that's how it works in email, but you should be able to see at this point how this can apply to other decisions in your life. So let's say somebody again wants to have lunch with you. Very basic one, very common. You could say no. It's not, I mean, you can say it in a nicer way than no, but you can say no. Or you can say yes, let's schedule it right now, let's deal with it. Or you can say, I'm really busy next couple of weeks. I can't do it then. I'm going to send myself a reminder to do that. So I'm going to send myself an email, 3 weeks at followupthen.com. Schedule lunch with so-and-so. And there you are, it's deferred. The biggest takeaway from that is that once you have the pathways in place, the decisions become a lot easier because you have one of 3 choices and that's it. So once you do that, you can go through email and you should be able to maintain inbox zero and not be so stressed out. And not only not be stressed out, but actually be able to use email for what it's meant for, which is effective communication. So now as an exercise, take a few minutes, a little break, and go look at your inbox. And you can archive all those things that are over 2 weeks old in about 5 seconds. So start with that. Then think about the 3 Ds. Just pick 3 emails that you can apply 1 D to each. So find one that you can delete. That should be pretty easy. Find one that you can deal with right now. That may be a little more challenging, but something that you can do in the next couple of minutes, whether it's responding to a quick inquiry or maybe just making a decision. And then find one that you can defer. And when you do that, think about not just putting it off to a later time. Don't procrastinate. This is really saying actively, this is the best time for me to deal with this kind of thing.
The Foundr mission is to help you create an ass-kicking business and help you learn straight from the mouths of world-class founders. Get your free printed edition of Foundr magazine featuring Sir Richard Branson. Just cover shipping and handling at foundr.com/Branson.